Glad to join you finally.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aaron Hernandez, transportation planner here with the Transportation Agency for Monterey County, or TAMC for short.
Bobby Merritt, representing Veterans Transition Center.
Stephen Macias, representing the Blind and Visually Impaired Center, and also the Vice Chair of the Mobility Advisory Committee.
I can go next. Christy Sugabo, Mobility Services Manager, MST staff. And then I have some few folks here with me inside our MST boardroom. We'll start with Caleb.
Hi, everybody. My name is Caleb Aquino Lopez, and I am the new mobilities specialist and veterans liaison.
Ruben Gomez, mobility coordinator.
And we have one here who is
Yes.
with
Hi,
public.
I'm Olivia Strickland, and I'm going to try to fill in on different levels with Michelle. She did invite me to become a member. My background is with the airlines and other transit association.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my name is Claudia Valencia, I'm mobility specialist and currently the Maxi part.
Kevin Alls. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Kevin.
Okay. Kevin Allshouse, contract services manager at MST.
Good afternoon, everyone. Maria Magaña, Surgical Center for Independent Living. Over.
Good afternoon, everybody. Alejandro Fernandez. I'm a social worker down here at Davida Dialysis in Salinas.
Good afternoon. My name is Norman Tutubuki. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Monterey Salinas Transit District.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. My name is Raina Gross, and I'm with Alliance on Aging. I'm the program manager for outreach and benefits.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Cox. I'm the general manager for MV Transportation.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Matt Deal, grants analyst for Monterey Salinas Transit.
Hey, is that everyone? I think it might be.
I didn't say who I represent, so I'm the Deputy Director over Area Agency on Aging, and also I have two branches that I'm responsible for in Department of Social Services, and that's the CalWorks Employment Services branch and the agency, the Aging and Adult Services branch.
Great, thank you, Diana. Okay, wonderful. Yes, it is a happy new year, which is kind of weird because it's almost the end of January already. So we're well into 2023. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to item 2, public comments on matters not on the agenda. So this is an opportunity for any public comments that anyone would like to make. Okay.
Nope. That's all right. I just think right now it's a little bit too soon. I'm trying to assess different opinions in the community.
Would you like
to
take a stand
Thank
and
you.
speak on our microphone?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as public comments, it might be a little bit soon. We are concerned about a few of the changes that have been made. And my effort is simply to try to communicate and just be instrumental at any level. I have the time right now, a little bit of time, not much. And I can see where some of these route changes do kind of deserve some question. But again, it's the beginning of the year, it's January. I'd like to document a little bit more and make talk with Michelle and then make sure that I'm clear on your focus as a transportation agency. I've been living in Monterey, the city, since '09. I've been relying pretty heavy on public transportation. I do drive. I do not need ADA services, but I do think that we do have a need to question at this point some of the new structure. So we're going to leave it right there for January. I will get back with you, and thank you for this time.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, so hearing none, we will go ahead and move on to item 3, which is the consent agenda. And 3.1 is approved minutes of the regular meeting of September 28th, 2022. Those were in your packet for review. If anyone is so inclined, we would entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Thank you.
Member Macias seconds.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then can we get a roll call vote?
Sure. Member McKillop? Member Ramirez?
Aye.
Member Gross?
Aye.
Member Macias?
Aye.
Member Merritt?
Aye.
Member Jimenez?
Aye.
Member Garcia? Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Magaña?
Aye.
Member Fernandez?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 4, presentation. And 4.1 is patrons with disabilities, materials and services highlight Monterey County Free Libraries. Hillary Thayer.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me today. My name is Hillary Thayer. I'm the library director for Monterey County Free Libraries. And we serve the County of Monterey, and many of our services cross jurisdictional lines. So I want to go in knowing anybody who lives, learns, works, or plays in the County of Monterey can have all of these services. Next slide, please. So this is my brave attempt to capture everything we do in one slide, which is impossible. But we have 16 branch libraries. We operate 3 bookmobiles. We have a library by mail service, which I'm going to talk a little more about, adult, family, and English as a second language literacy, youth services, including summer reading program, homework centers. We answer reference questions. We have programs for all ages. And I could spend 2 hours going into the and more, but we're going to focus today. Next slide, please. So I want to cover a few of the materials and services we have specifically aimed at people with various disabilities. These are often hidden. People come in and may see them on the shelf and not know what it is. We also still hear from way too many people who say, I used to read, but I used to love the library, but, and we can overcome all that. So I'm going to highlight a few of the ways we can. The first is this new audio format. It's called a Playaway. And the picture here doesn't have any scale. I used to say it was the size of an iPod back when iPods first came out. But now I would say this is the size of a cassette. It is a self-contained digital audiobook and player. The person just has to put in a battery and plug in their headphones or their earbuds. It has no moving parts. It has no pieces and parts like CDs you have to put in and out of a player. The buttons are always in the same place, making it ideal for somebody with visual impairment, because once you learn where the buttons are, it's always the same. There's no digital connectivity needed. So they don't have to have a smartphone. They don't have to have a computer. They don't have to have internet. This comes ready to go. An adaptive function this audiobook format has is it can speed and slow down the reading voice. People do this for a variety of reasons, to need to speed up or slow down the reading voice. And we found sometimes slowing down the reading voice can help somebody who may have brain damage or they've had a stroke. They just need the words slower. Somebody who's learning English who wants to read along. And then there's the hyper speed audiobook listeners who want to speed up the reading voice. They can hear that fast. All the patron needs to add is a battery and their headphones, or they can plug in a little speaker. And this checks out for free on your library card, just like a book on CD does or a regular book does. And we have them on the shelves at all of our branches. Next slide, please. This is a service that we became a demonstration and enrollment hub for. This is called the Braille Talking Books Library. Our connection is through the California State Library in Sacramento, but this is actually a nationwide free program for people with disabilities that far too few people know about. Our enrollment here in Monterey County was under 20 people, and so many more people qualify for this. The area I'm highlighting is the adaptive audiobooks and player. So depicted on the screen is an adaptive audiobook player and digital audiobooks. The player does things like, for example, every button is a different shape. And when you push the button, it tells you what button you've pushed. It can walk you through a tutorial. It tells you where you are in the book. It is plug-in with a rechargeable battery, so you can pick it up and carry it around the house with you, take it on a trip with you. And this service, you do have to be eligible, but there are multiple ways of eligibility. Visual impairment, audio impairment, physical impairment, where simply holding and manipulating a book is difficult, dyslexia, learning disability, tons of eligibility criteria, and librarians can sign the eligibility form. Once somebody is enrolled, it all happens for free through the mail. Their player gets mailed to them. They request their books, which get mailed to them. There's also an adaptive digital option. And this service, the 800 number and the website are on the slide. Again, it's a nationwide service that every time I try to tell people, I go, why don't more people know about this? It's already here and it's already free. So we became a demonstration hub so we can demonstrate the players and help people enroll. Next slide, please. Another area we have on our shelves, again, kind of hidden, a lot of people don't know this exists, is descriptive video. This is a regular DVDs and Blu-rays with an added soundtrack that describes the action going on the screen. So this is obviously for people with visual disabilities so they can enjoy the same movie that all their families are enjoying and have what's going on the screen described to them. You have to look for these in our catalog because they look like just regular DVDs, and the print on the cases is way too tiny to pick up every case and try to read if it has a descriptive audio soundtrack. So I have on the slide here how to search the catalog. You can also ask our librarians to help you, and you check these out just like any other DVD for free on your library card. It's a really another way to enjoy a movie. Next slide, please. Now, this is a service offered by Monterey County Free Libraries. Anywhere in Monterey, we will mail you for free, both directions, any library materials that can be put in the mail. So this can be books, audiobooks, Playaways, DVDs, Blu-rays, anything we can put in the mail, we can mail to you. They come in this great little blue pouch with a label that is addressed to the person. They open the pouch. They enjoy their materials. When they're done, they pack the pouch, turn the label around, and it's addressed right back to us. This is all mailed through the post office as free matter for the blind. So there's no proof of need required. You can do this in conjunction with other library use. You can do this sometimes or always. You can do this for some materials and not others. Any amount of materials, any duration. The one caveat I give people is this is the slowest way. to get library service. Not only do we have to manage packaging the materials, but library rate is the slowest form of mail. So if you have a book you have to read for your book group and your meeting is next week, this probably isn't the best way to get your book to read it on time. But I love this because somebody who has trouble driving or getting to their library, maybe their branch library is not open convenient hours for them, or they have to get a ride. Or if they have trouble using the library, walking around the library, standing and looking at the shelves, we'll mail anything and we will help people select and find. So you have an 800 number up there and a specific email address to our library by mail clerk. Her name is Kayla. She is super sweet. Next slide, please. We have a variety of technology in our branches. The picture here is our librarian Eddie demonstrating one of our new reader magnifiers. We have 3 of these in branches. This is a pretty big machine you sit down in front of. You can put any printed material under the magnifier. Then you can zoom in. You can reverse the print. So instead of black print on a white screen, you can reverse it to have white print on a black screen. For some people, that makes it much easier to read. This has, again, no connectivity. You can bring in anything. You can bring in your bills, your medicine bottles, your prescriptions, those horrible instructions they send you now with new appliances that are printed in like 4-point font that nobody can read, but you have to set up your appliance with it. You can bring them in and it just zooms and magnifies it to your need. You don't have to scan it. You don't have to use a computer. We also have adaptive computers with screen reading software, large print keyboards, rollerball mice. The rollerball mice are so great with somebody who might have arthritis, tremors, something that makes the precision of using a mouse and their fingers just difficult. A rollerball mouse is basically a giant ball. You can rest your wrist on it, mouse, and then press your hand. And we have those set up with computers in our libraries. Next slide, please. This is just a bunch of additional services. For somebody who does have a smart device and connectivity, we check out ebooks in 2 different platforms and digital audio. Those have tons of adaptive functions, both in the platform and in the device, and we're happy to help people walk through those adaptive functions. We have large print, which is simply a print book printed bigger. We have tons of DVDs with subtitled. We can interlibrary loan. So we don't carry a Braille collection, but we can interlibrary loan books in Braille. We have public computers with Microsoft Office. And again, you can get the adaptive computer peripherals to use those. We have public printing, fax, scan, copying. There is a small fee for those, and free public wireless internet. So if somebody does have their own device, we have free, good, strong internet in all of our branches. Next slide, please. This is a service that is statewide called Digital Navigators, because we do sometimes start telling people about our service and they go, I wish I had internet. I wish I could afford internet. You know, I have a computer that's 7 years old. It can't run all those apps. My grandkids gave me an iPad. All I can do is look at pictures on it. You know, this is a free service to help people with technology. And it is remote. They can call, fill out a web form, send an email. A digital navigator gets right back specifically to that person, can work through many sessions on their need, assistance in finding and accessing low-cost home connectivity or devices. So if somebody says, I can't afford internet, I always want to go, let's have you call and see what options are out there. The Affordable Connectivity Program, the Lifeline Program, services that will give away refurbished devices, those kind of things, and assistance with finding and accessing basic technology skills, including how to download an ebook app and then check out an ebook. They will help with that. This is free to everyone in California, English and Spanish. Next slide, please. And I threw in this at the end just because it's something new for us and I love it. This is a toll-free number, dial a story, a different story every week, English or Spanish, read aloud over the phone. It's toll-free, call from a landline or a smartphone. So for anybody with kids or they have their grandkids staying or they just want something to, we're going to read a story together, it is toll free. It's just a toll free phone call, and you get a lovely story professionally read aloud, a different story every week in English or Spanish. Next slide, please. This is our contact information, including a phone tree that leads you to every one of our services and locations. So if you want to find literacy or youth services or library by mail or your local branch, that's our website. Library cards are absolutely free to any resident of California. So if somebody says, well, I live in Santa Cruz County, I live in San Luis Obispo County, I only come into Monterey to go to school or to work or to vacation, you can still have a library card and have all of these services. My contact information is at the end of the slide, and I'm happy to answer any questions for you.
Thank you so much, Hillary. That's really amazing information for people with all types of needs to access library materials. Really appreciate that.
I have a question, Miss Hillary. This is Raina from Alliance on Aging, and it's exciting because, as you know, some of our seniors are home alone and don't have family members or something. And so I'm wondering if connecting them with, someone reading a story over the phone, I think that would be amazing. But also, do you do presentations? So for example, I go to a lot of senior sites and introduce obviously our programs, and then make sure they have all the knowledge of MST and the options of transportation. But do you do presentations for, like I said, sites?
Yeah, any outreach we can do about library services, we're happy to customize it, do something tailored to the needs and interests of the group we're speaking with. If we're in person, we can bring examples. I was unable to join you in person today, but we could do an in-person thing where I bring examples of all this stuff and people can play with it. If we can issue library cards on the spot. Yep, happy to talk about that. And if it isn't me, pass you on to the best person. So I would start with my contact information on that slide. Send me your thoughts and ideas. We'd love to get the word out.
Thank you so much. You will be hearing from me.
Any other questions for Hillary?
Not a question, but just a comment. Thank you so much, Hillary. That was very informative, and lots of resources I didn't know existed. And that, as Reina pointed out, it'd be helpful for seniors throughout the county to learn about and have access to. So thank you for that information. I imagine on the county's website, it'd have a list of these services as well.
You kind of have, they're not all in one place. So searching the catalog for, the particular item, searching for Playaways. We also have a lot of other services that might interest a group of seniors. For example, we have free online classes targeted at seniors, completely free with your library card, things like that. So we can tailor a presentation and bring the details. If we were coming in person, I could have brought like an iPad or a Chromebook if we were visiting a center, for example, and issue library cards on the spot. It's that easy. So just reach out to me and we'll set something up.
What type of classes do you offer?
It's through a database called Get Set Up. And that's free on our website. You can look that up. And they're synchronous classes taught all over the world. Once you're enrolled, you can enroll in yoga, you can enroll in financial planning, all sorts of things. And it is aimed at older adults. So a lot of, for example, gentle fitness and things like that. And they're taught all over the world synchronously. So you may look in and go, I'm interested in physical movement, and see a yoga class that's at 1 a.m. our time, and it's because it's being taught on the other side of the world. So you get a lot of opportunities where we can't bring a teacher physically here to Monterey County.
Thank you.
This is Maria from Cecil. I have a question. I know that you have, it says toll-free bilingual phone number to get services and access to all the different amazing programs that you have. Oh, my camera's off. I'm in a cubicle today. Aside from English and Spanish, are there additional languages that you serve in the Monterey County area? Over.
For collections, English and Spanish are the only collections we have, but we can interlibrary loan anything we can find. So throughout California and the country, there are libraries that collect in many, many different languages. So somebody could come and request, I would like books in Farsi. I would like children's books bilingual in Urdu. And our interlibrary loan group will do our best among all of our library networks. Basically, the whole country networks together for this. All we have to do is find a library willing to lend it to us, and that is free to the Monterey County Library cardholder.
Oh. Okay, wonderful. Any other questions or comments for Hillary?
This is Christy with MST. Not a question, but just a comment. Thank you again, Hillary, for joining the meeting and doing the presentation this afternoon.
My pleasure, and anytime. And happy to do presentations for any other groups tailored to your needs and interests.
Great. Okay, wonderful. Thanks again, Hillary. We appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a certificate of appreciation for Claudia Valencia. So we have had the pleasure of working with Claudia. I've had the pleasure of working with you, Claudia, for a few years now. And we do have a certificate of appreciation for you. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. It's kind of different because we're doing it online. For demonstrating outstanding professionalism while providing administrative support to the MST Mobility Advisory Committee. So we just want to share our appreciation for you and for everything that you do to keep us organized and, moving along and making sure that we stay on task. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Great. So where are you moving on to?
I'm still here at MST, but now Ruben will be the new Mac support. So you will be starting to get emails and invites from him. But it's been really nice getting to know all of you, and thank you for responding to my emails and sending me the request. It's nice to know that you guys are a great group of people that help the community. But if you guys have any questions, I'll be still focusing on the rides program and other mobility programs. So feel free to send me an email or call me if you have any questions about a client that has questions about rides.
Great, thank you. Yeah, hopefully our paths will continue to cross.
Yeah, we'll still probably once in a while stop by as a participant and just visit you guys.
Good. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move to new business, which is item number 5, the election of the chair and the vice chair for 2023. So typically, I'm guessing we would have some discussion around just kind of asking the group if anyone has any interest in these positions for the 2023 year. Anybody's jumping up to take.
Chair, I would be willing to accept the position of chair, just moving from vice chair to chair. But I don't know if that conflicts with number 6, since I have to be recommended again to the board.
That is a good point.
This is Christy with MST. That there shouldn't be a conflict.
Okay, great. Wonderful. So Stephen, you are interested in filling the chair position?
I am.
Great. We would love that. Anybody interested in the vice chair position? Nobody? Christy, what do we do if we don't have anybody interested in that position?
It will remain vacant until someone get appointed to that position. However, Jennifer, I know you've been the chair and Stephen was the vice chair. If there's any interest on your end to switching the role, I'll leave that up to you, but the position of vice chair will remain vacant until it's someone's appointed to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be open to doing that. Usually used to going from one way to the other, but yeah, I would, if nobody else is willing to step up into that position, I can definitely provide that support. So any other interest or nominations for those two positions? Okay, so I believe at this point we would need a motion to elect. Is that correct, Chrissy?
That is correct, yes.
I move that we elect, is it Stephen Macias? And as the chair, and Jennifer Ramirez as the vice chair for this committee.
Okay, thank you.
Member Merritt seconds.
Thank you. And can we get a roll call vote?
Sure. Member McKillop? Member Ramirez?
Aye.
Member Gross?
Aye.
Member Macias?
Aye.
Member Merritt?
Aye.
Member Jimenez?
Aye.
Member Garcia? Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Magaña?
Aye.
Member Fernandez?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Chair, motion passed.
Wonderful. And Christy, do I continue to chair the rest of this meeting or do I pass this on to Stephen?
You can pass it to Stephen.
Okay, there you go, Chair. You're up.
Yep, thank you. All right, so moving forward, we will move on to item number 6, membership. With Jennifer Ramirez as the representative for Partner for Children, Stephen Macias, myself as the representative for the Blind and Visually Impaired Center, Bobby Merritt as the representative of the Veterans Transition Center, and Maria Magaña as the representative of the Central Coast Center for Independence Living to the Mobility Advisory Committee members. There's membership of the Mobility Advisory Committee. And can we get a motion to approve that?
I so move.
I'm sorry, who moved?
I said I so move the motion to appoint the individuals 6-1 through 6-4.
Thank you, Member.
And maybe get a second.
Hernandez second.
And maybe get a roll call vote, Claudia.
Sure. Member McKillop? Member Ramirez?
Aye.
Member Gross?
Aye.
Member Macias?
Aye.
Member Merritt?
Aye.
Member Jimenez?
Aye.
Member Garcia? Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Magaña? Member
Aye.
Fernandez?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Moving on, item 7, reports and information items. We'll hear first from MV Transit MST Ride Service Update from David Cox.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Here to give you a report on MV Transportation and the rides program. As you can see, this first slide that we're looking at shows the increase in our rides passenger per vehicle revenue hour. There has been an increase in the passengers per vehicle this fiscal year since July. That has a lot to do with our new dispatching system, EcoLane. that took a place in July as well. That platform now is to help us be more efficient and increase the passengers on the vehicles, on the buses per hour. So as you can see, there is an increase in that, which is, and our goal is 1.87 passengers per revenue hour. And through July, we have been hitting it. November and December, there was a slight downtrend. There were a few drivers out that we lost, and with the holiday season, not as many passengers were riding. The slide below, the on-time performance, we do have a goal of 90% that we try to hit on a monthly basis or daily as well. We are still adjusting to the new eco lane system and making sure that we are not only providing the hitting the passenger per vehicle revenue hour, but also our on-time performance. We are struggling a little bit on that. That is just due because of a driver shortage. But we are currently working on that with actively hiring drivers to fill those open spots. The latest report that we have right now for the month of December and January, December was at 86%. And January up to date is at 88%. So we are just about there with 6 days left to go. We are trying our best to achieve that 90% goal. Next slide, please. Okay, the next slide shows our hold times for our callers that call in to book a ride. That is an area that we have been struggling in. We have a shortage in our dispatch unit. We have just recently lost 2 dispatchers who have moved on with their careers to other facilities. So I am also in the process of hiring replacements for those 2 employees. So we're hoping that our efforts with that will reduce the amount of hold times for our callers. Next slide.
Yeah, your page down on your side isn't functioning properly. So is this the correct slide?
Yes, that is it.
Okay.
Okay, this is our rides trips. As you can see, the ridership and the demand is up this fiscal year, quite a bit from last year, almost 1,000 more riders per month since FY22 to FY23. So that's a good thing for everyone. You know, our clients out there are getting out and doing business again. You know, it was low last year due to the pandemic, and now with the things opening up more, ridership has increased, and the demand is there, and that's why we are also doing our best to continue with the hiring and get as many drivers out there as possible to ensure that on-time performance. All right, next slide. Okay, this slide here is really interesting, or not interesting, but it's very informative, I should say. It breaks down the trips by purpose, and you can see as you look at that where our emphasis is at and where our clients are going. You know, we have a majority of our clients are taking personal and recreational trips to lunches, dinners, movies, just getting out there again and getting out in the public and enjoying the Monterey Peninsula. Another demand of ridership is for our education training and daycare. We have a lot of passengers that are using this program to get to school and to the colleges that are in the area and so forth. And then our other big one is that our dialysis patients. We have several dialysis patients that we pick up on a regular basis every single day that have that have increased and that are out there in our that we're trying to service. But it is very informative. I like this slide because it does break down where everybody is going and the purpose of the RISE program. If we can go to the next slide. This one here, if you look at the last number, that's 32,590 rides. I thought it was a nice number to look at to see how many passengers that we are moving since September 1st up until January 19th. So 32,590 riders have boarded our buses that we are providing service to. Okay, and if you can go to the next slide. Okay, and excuse me, this slide here just kind of breaks down how the trend has gone, by monthly, weekly, and daily since the pandemic first started, and then the height of the pandemic, and then where it's going now. We're not quite as high right now as we were at the very start of the pandemic, but we are getting there. The increase in ridership has gone up. Like I said before, the the passengers are getting back out there and getting back to work, going back to school, and enjoying the peninsula by going on the recreational trips. And you can see the definite increase since 2019 to current. And I believe that is the last slide. Any questions?
Yes, I'd like to ask, on your trips by purpose, these numbers reflect September 1 through January 19th. Is this correct? You said 32,000 rides?
That is correct.
Okay, 32,000. Now, a second question. Are these clients and customers who picked up the phone and made a telephone call and scheduled prior to 24 hours? Is that correct?
Well, not all of them, no. Some of these clients have subscriptions where they have already set up a pre-set date to be picked up. Some are Monday through Friday, some are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but they have a subscription where they do not need to place that phone call.
Okay, so, but this is specifically dealing with seniors. I think I did hear you mention child care.
That is correct.
Okay, the numbers look good. I mean, the comeback is important. And I'm just thinking though, one concern, and I'm going to be real brief about it, is I noticed that yesterday, the day before, I do have a couple projects up at MPC, and it just was a bit disappointing not seeing the customer character transportation presence on the Hill at University. And I think that the effort here with MAC, while I appreciate it because I do fit in a mature category, it may be worth considering kind of tuggling later on because of the summer that is coming. I don't know if we're going to be in for another drought or what, but it looks like we're spinning a lot of wheels on prearranged senior. And then we know that the majority, there's a purpose there with the hospitals, doctors. To the point, it looks good, But I think that there could be some fine tuning in here and it can cost less. It can cost a little bit less. It just seems like a lot of isolated carriage. So I just want to bring that point out, and the report of David, it's great. It can stand some discussion. I'll put it that way. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. And I appreciate your input. That's all I have, unless there's any other questions or concerns.
I just have a question, David, and that is, what's the average cost for these rides?
You know, I do not have that information in front of me or available. I apologize. I didn't prepare that.
That's okay.
All right, thank you, David.
You're welcome.
MST mobility updates from Christy.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for mobility update, I have just few to share. So our department did end up gaining 2 more mobility specialists back in December. We hired Kelly Soriano, who will be overseeing the Navigator Volunteer Program and provide support in the travel training program. And you met Caleb earlier, where he introduced himself. He is going to be overseeing the transportation reimbursement incentive program trips and veterans outreach activities. Also, so back in 2021, the MST board directed staff and consultants to redesign the transit network. So the focus was more on ridership and less covering all areas of Monterey County. So after a long planning process, the MST's Better Bus Network, BBN, did go into effect last month, back in December 10th. The mobility department received 9 related customer service report from customers with disabilities, where their bus lines were affected by change. Mobility was able to provide alternative mobility options, such as the MST Rides program, the taxi voucher program, and travel training on those new lines. Also part of the Better Bus Network, BBN, was the change to the MST bus fare system from tier structure to just one-way transfer fare. So the fare now is $2 for 2 hours. And so with that change, because MST Rides is a complimentary service to our MST bus services, the fare now to MST Rides is also $2 one-way trip. And last, there was a question from MAC member regarding MAC meeting format after February. So Governor Newsom announced that the current state of COVID-19 emergency will remain into effect until February 28th. So right now, there are 3 separate laws that regulates the format of remote teleconference and video conference for local government meeting, and that's the Traditional Brown Act, AB 361 emergency meeting, and then AB 2449 limited Pacific scenario rules. So after February, the AB 2449 rules will be in effect to allow exceptions to the Traditional Brown Act for virtual participation. But at this time, the MAC meetings will continue to meet hybrid, virtually and in person, until MAC support staff receives direction to make any changes. In February, the MST board meeting will have an agenda item to discuss board meeting format. So MAC support staff we'll learn more on the direction of the meeting format later in February. So for any changes on the meeting format for this committee, we'll most likely transition after March MAC meeting. And that's it for me. Any questions?
I have a question, and this might be for Kevin or Christy. There's a change in the taxi vouchers cost too, right?
No, the taxi voucher cost remains the same. It's a $3 copay with the $14 value taxi vouchers, which can equal to the $17 meter reading.
Okay.
Can I ask a question on that? At what time was it $19? I was under. Yes, at one time, I believe the vouchers, I thought the value was $17,300, maybe $16 and $3, $19. Did they bring that down?
Actually, no, it's always been a $14 taxi voucher.
So it's always been $14.
Yeah, and then there's the $3 copay that the rider would pay, so it makes it
Right.
to $17.
Okay, okay, yeah, there was some concern. I think one lady had said the same. It was told to me 19, and it stuck 19 in my head, and someone else had thought so. But then one driver did say it's 14, so it's officially 14. Do you plan to move that down more or just leave it like it is? How is that rate set anyhow? What is it calculated on?
It calculates on, so the way the voucher is set up to where it's an option to those who receive a voucher to travel on the same day, alternative to the MST Rides program. So MST Rides program is available by reservation. And then in support of that, there's the taxi voucher program. And with the $14, that's equivalent to about 5 miles meter reading. And then there's the $3 copay, which is equivalent to that the cost for the paratransit services.
And then has MST looked at that program per se? What is that doing as far as MAC? How much does that really penetrate the MAC share? I mean, what percentage, or I don't want to go into all that, but do you have quite a few seniors who participate, or how does that look? Say, for example, on a monthly basis, you get 45 seniors, 30 seniors, 2 or 3. What do you think?
Oh, yes, we do have a lot seniors. Well, the taxi voucher program is available to seniors. It's available to persons with disabilities and veterans. So
veterans as well.
Yes. And for seniors, they can receive taxi vouchers through our participating city distribution sites. And then for the taxi vouchers for persons with disability, that's processed through our mobility department, which is mailed. And then for the veterans taxi voucher, that is distributed through our partnered veterans organization provider. So any veterans can go and request for those vouchers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
All right, for item number 8, any items for a future follow-up agenda to be included on the March 29th meeting? Hearing none, moving to item 9, announcements and appreciations.
I have an appreciation that I'd like to share. During the recent floods and storms, there were several individuals throughout the county that had to be evacuated in South County, North County, and other areas of the county. The Department of Social Services was responsible for setting up I think at one point there were 7 different shelters throughout the county. And one of my colleagues, Thomas Dela Cruz, was in charge of helping to set up the shelters and work with Office of Emergency Services. And one of the things he shared is that MST was so helpful in helping some of the individuals who didn't have transportation to get to the shelters. And so I just want to express my gratitude to MST and the drivers that volunteered to transport individuals that needed assistance with transportation to shelters. That's it.
Thank you. And I'd also like to follow Jennifer's remarks with a congrats, and a missing to Claudia Valencia for all her hard work with the Mobility Advisory Committee.
Yeah, same here, appreciation. One of the things that Department of Social Service and other sites, they forward us all the shelters that were in place, MST picking up anyone for a shelter in place. So thank you, MST, for everything that you did.
Center section here.
And this is Christy with MST. Also to add to that, Kevin and Marcette, who were the front line of this transportation, they coordinated with the local yellow cab company as well to provide transportations for any individuals that would qualify under the taxi voucher program.
And then as announcements, I always do this. Taxes is coming in for our seniors. It's free. So please, I'll forward this to Christian, Claudia, and Ruben regarding taxes for Lines on Aging for our seniors that are 60 and over. We're doing free. So please encourage your seniors to save that money, whether it's $1 or $100 that they pay someone to do taxes, not with us. So please keep that in mind.
Okay, so
All right, thank you. I motion to adjourn the meeting with the next meeting scheduled for March 29th to Wednesday at 1:00 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Congratulations, Mr. Macias. Welcome to being our chair.
Yep,
Likewise.